Okay. Okay, so let's talk about the problem. So yesterday we talked about insurances. So we've been talking about, simple interest loan. Can you take out a loan to buy the vehicle or item that you want, right? So we talked about, different items yesterday. So kind of threw that out. You threw out the formula that you could do, or I guess that was Monday, I should say. That worksheet was due today. Got it from almost everybody, I think. Now, what we talked about yesterday, we introduced was you have to get insurance. So now, the insurance item that I gave you here is liability. Liability, again, covers, if you were to get in an accident, it would cover the other person. It would not cover yourself. It would cover the other person in case you cause damage or injury. That's what it covers. It's kind of a gamble because, people that get liability, it's usually on a vehicle they don't really care about. It's not worth it to them. Maybe they can't make that high of a payment. So they're just gonna be very careful in driving. It's definitely lower payments, it's lower premiums, what it costs you. Now, what we talked about yesterday was you had to pick one of the personal injury numbers. So you had to pick one of these pairs. Let's do that now, let's discuss it, because I know Ms. Brown, you were gone, so I want to fill her in on how we do it. So let's pick one of those pairs. Pick any pair you like.
2040.
2040? Okay, let's start with that. So 2040? Okay, now what this stands for, this is for personal injury on this premium. Personal injury. So what that means, if you were to get in a car accident, these two numbers would cover the people that have been injured. This number here, this 20, is the max payout per person. So max payout per person. So maybe it's $20,000 per person. Okay, that would be maximum. The second number is the total payout in the scene that happened, the accident. This is total payout for all injuries. Is $40,000. Now anything that if you went past that, that would be out of your own expense. So it would be out of pocket. That's total payout for just injuries. Okay, for just injuries. Injuries only. So if you ran into, let's say, a bus full of people, you might be in trouble because obviously you're going to be max payout if there's some serious injuries, and you're only going up to 40, so could be different. Bless you. All right, questions with the first two numbers, what that stands for. The third number that you'd have on a premium would be one of these. So on your premium, you'd have to pick one of those. So pick any of those. 15, okay, or 50, sorry, I heard 50. Okay, so then this is how it'd be written, 20, 40, 50. The 50 number, because that's how you'd write it. It's always written as 3 digits. The 50, this is the max payout for property damage. It's the max payout for property damage. So that'd be, payout on the vehicle you struck, okay? So you don't want to hit a really, really expensive car, I'm just saying that. And it'd be in thousands, so this would be 50,000. Okay, I'm in automotive, so I like cars a lot. So I follow a couple YouTubers that have very expensive cars. One of which has a multi-million-dollar car, and took it out one of his first outings on the interstate that he was on, and somebody sideswiped his car. Like, sideswiped him, was coming over in the lane, didn't see him there, and sideswiped his multi-million-dollar car. Caused a bunch of damage to the side of his brand new car. That's terrifying, because on a multi-million-dollar car, the damages were like 200,000 plus. Because of the carbon fiber and all the other expenses that were on this car. It was a limited edition car. Your insurance only paid out 50. Guess what's coming out of your pocket? Yeah. So it's a good thing if you get full coverage because it covers everything and it doesn't have a limited payout. Okay. So those are little things to think about. And I'm not saying that around here we see $1 million cars. We don't. But you also have to think about, when you're in an accident, because one will happen someday, hopefully. It doesn't to you, but if it does, you gotta be safe. Have insurance, know what it covers, talk to your insurance agency. They do a pretty nice job of walking through everything you need. spend time, talk to them, get to know them a little bit. Now, the other thing we talked about was the high risk, average risk, and low risk. This would represent the area you live in. So maybe you're in a very, maybe you're in an accident-prone, neighborhood. So you might be on average to high risk insurance because maybe there's just lots of accidents in your neighborhood. Maybe it's just a high population area. Or maybe it's a high risk area because you have flooding or fire damage if you live out in California, or if you're in Florida, it's probably flood damage that you'd have to be worried about. There's certain areas of Clear Lake that are high risk for flooding. There is. So you have to be worried about what type of insurance you have that would be covered. I'll let you guys choose. Do you want high risk, average, or low risk?
Average.
Average. Okay, we'll go average. So we're going average here. You guys pick the 20/40 and you pick the 50 coverage. Okay, that's the premiums that you, the policy that you picked. I shouldn't say premiums, the policy that you picked was this. So, does everyone understand the numbers though? What it covers?
Yeah.
It's important that you do know those because the insurance agency will walk you through that. Now, let's discuss what your premium is. What are you going to pay per month or per 6 months? This chart's by 6 months, by the way. I figured that one out. Okay, so you're paying average. So you're in an average risk neighborhood. Average risk. So your first policy right here, the 20/40, that's $339 every 6 months. Then the 50 coverage is an additional $98 every 6 months. So your total premium that you're going to be spending, you have to add these two together. It's a 7, carry a 1, 13, carry a 1, $437?
Yeah.
Okay, so $437, that's every 6 months. Okay, so what that means, and this is for 6 months. If you want to figure out what you're paying per month, you divide this by 6. So 437 divided by 6. And this will tell you what you're going to pay per month if you choose to do that type of policy. Okay, what do we get when you divide that number by 6? 7283. And probably the 3 is repeating maybe. Okay, all right. 7283. Now, you have choice. Maybe you're that person like, I'm just going to pay it every 6 months. You can do that. You can choose that on your policy. They'll give you a bill, 6 months later down the road, State Farm or Farm Bureau or Geico or whatever insurance company you pick, they'll just send you a bill. Oh, it's $437. Maybe you didn't save up for it. Maybe you forgot the insurance bill was coming up. So maybe you choose to do monthly. Like that's what I do. I choose monthly because then I don't have to remember. It just comes out automatically. I don't want to think about it. And plus, if I go monthly and I add up all my things like my house and my cars and my snowmobile and my motorcycle, like it brings down the premiums and I don't have to pay as much. All right. Questions at all about insurances right now? Okay, there's one thing that I kind of hinted at yesterday. Okay, Mr. Brown, wake up. Here, you're falling asleep, I can tell. All right. One thing I forgot to tell you yesterday was, and I hinted at it, but we never really discussed it. We talked about the area you live in being high risk, but you personally could be at a high risk for insurance because you're a male or you're a certain age, or maybe you have a history of accidents or you have a history of speeding. And so your risk of getting higher insurance would be higher. It doesn't affect these numbers. These are the area you live in. It would be an additional charge on top of your insurance. I'm going to give you an idea. Let's say that you're a female and you have no speeding tickets and you have no prior accidents. Your policy, right? So your premiums for this 6 months were for $437, right? That was your premium. That's the one you chose, right? For your liability. This is your premium for 6 months. But you're a female, and let's say you're a female and you're 28 years of age, and you have no record for accidents or speeding tickets. They look back 10 years, by the way, when they look at speeding tickets and whatnot. So you have no records. So what they do is they look at a certain number on their scale, and this is what they charge. they charge you what they call a financial fee, which is usually something like this. It's a multiplier. It's a scale that they have set up, and they have the chart in front of them. They'll even show you this chart that will influence how much you're paying. So you're a female, you're 28 years of age, your policy multiplier might be only 1.2. And so, because you're a female. So you take 1.2, you take it times 437, and that is the new 6-month policy. So take 1.2 times 437. What's our new policy number?
524,
24? Okay. So now you're paying 524. Maybe that's what it is. I forgot to tell you that yesterday. Right? So they have a scalar multiplier. There is a chart, there is a reasoning for it. Okay? Let's say you have the same policy. Same policy. You pick average, you pick the 20/40, you pick the 50, but you're a male and you're 16 years of age and you have 1 speeding ticket. One speeding ticket, but you're 16 years of age. Your policy number, the policy that you're, the number, the multiplier that's on yours might be 1.9 for the multiplier. Might be 1.9. So in this case, you take 1.9 times 437. You're almost at $800. What is it?
$830.03.
$830 and what?
30 cents.
30 cents. Yikes. And then you have to divide by 6, and that's your policy. You know that kid I told you that had really high risk insurance because he got a few speeding tickets? And I told you how his monthly payments were more than his car? You want to know how much his 6-month insurance policy was? $3,600.
Holy.
He had 3 speeding tickets in 2-year intervals that were over 100 miles an hour. And his policy number, this policy multiplier, so he was automatically put on high risk insurance, like the highest risk, and the insurance company can deny you all of these and say you have to go with the highest premium because you have a record of showing that you're speeding. So they'll automatically tell you that you have to go with this or pick a different company. And his multiplier was like 6. So then he looked at and his monthly payments for 6 months on $3,000, it was like $900 a month.
How can you afford that?
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, I would have sold the car and just rode a bike for a while. Like, because, having the car is optional, right? He was a kid. Like, I can have my parent drop me off for a while and save, $900 a month for the next foreseeable future. Because that policy doesn't go away. Think about that. That policy sticks with him for about 5 to 10 years. And if he gets another speeding ticket, they can just cut him off automatically. And just say, nah, we don't need you. Because we're going to be paying out more for accidents. So that's the danger of it. And when I heard that number, I was like, $900. At the time I was living in Garner here, that was like 3 times my mortgage on my house. 3, because I bought a very cheap home at the time. And I was like, what are you doing? You're paying, you could have bought a home for what you're paying. And so, yeah, just want the speed, just want to go fast. Not worth it. Definitely not worth it.
Not unless you're on a strip.
Yeah, unless you're in a controlled environment, right? Like a drag strip or something, like where it's controlled and you're allowed to do it.
And
Yeah, there's
EMS
yeah.
and
That's why I always find it funny that cars can go, 100, 200 miles an hour, right? The fastest you can go around here is 70, right? Interstate. Like I can understand going 80, maybe because there's certain states that can go 80 or 85, but there's no reason for a car. That's why some cars were limited for a very long time. Up through the 90s, cars were limited to 90 miles an hour. You were limited. Didn't have any control on it, unless you built it yourself. Then they kind of released that speed limit.
now they want like 300.
Yeah, so now they have cars that go 277 miles an hour, or a motorcycle that go almost 400. Like, I don't know why you need to go that fast.
They want the money for the ticket.
Yeah, they just want to say that, I have a motorcycle that go 420 miles an hour. Okay, cool. I don't want to hit anything at 420. I don't even want to hit a pebble at 420 miles an hour. All right, questions with this insurance thing. Okay, this is the big thing that we're doing today. The individual problems you're going to be looking at, there's 4 problems in your homework today. 4, that's it, 4. They're going to give you a person and some story. So the story will say, okay, they're going to pick a policy number. So they're going to give you, the front number, they're going to give you the back number. So you have to go figure out what their premium is, right? Like this, go figure out their premium, add them together. And it'll be this chart, by the way. This chart's printed in your textbook. And then it will say, okay, now that you have your premium, they have a certain scalar because of certain risk to them. So you have to go multiply that scalar and figure out what their total that you're paying for 6 months. That's all you have to do. 6 months. I don't care about your monthly payment. I want your 6-month payment, what you're making. Okay, does that make sense what you're doing? Okay, here's your homework today. This will be due on Friday. It's our last major assignment of the week. Okay, we might do like a little activity in class one day with a little piece of paper, but this is your last problem of the week. It is right there, page 121. 121, and it is numbers 1 through 4. It's due on Friday. Okay, Ms. Brown, I think the videos from last week and like yesterday and all those, I think they're starting to show up on the website. I got the website working. It's now, videos are showing up and they're actually working, and you should be good. You can go back and kind of read and kind of go through stuff. I'll make the assignments you have now, I'll make them do like next Monday. So you can have a couple more days you can kind of work on it. Since you've been gone for quite a while, so, which you can't help that. So. Yeah, just being safe. Better safe than sorry. So there you go. So homework's due on Friday, it's page 121. I'll give you some time tomorrow even to work on this. Tomorrow, I'm gonna go to State Farm tonight. I'm gonna see if they'll print off one of these for me for full coverage, so we can see what the policy numbers are. I'm gonna go talk to State Farm. They usually don't have a problem with me doing that. Maybe I can even get them to email me that. I mean, I have to provide a little bit of Clear Lake. And if I have a little bit of time this afternoon, I'm gonna talk to Family Farm Bureau uptown, see if they'll print off some insurance for me. I don't think Geico will. You have to usually have an account with them. So I'll get some different policies, and we'll look at full coverage tomorrow.